Hello, I'm Kay from the Asset team, and in this video I will show you how to make your website completely responsive so that it looks as beautiful on the desktop, on the tablet, and on the mobile. Now, making your website responsive is essential nowadays because of the importance of smartphones. And this is what we're going to address in this video. Now, that phase of your website project is also beneficial because it will allow you to address mistakes you may have overlooked while building the desktop version and that need corrections. Because let's face it, as you will see in this video, it's almost impossible to have everything 100% perfect from your first draft. Now, this video is part of a course organized in a playlist for which you'll find a link in the description below. And if you want to get the most out of it, I strongly encourage you to follow this course in the exact order the videos are organized in the playlist. Now, in order to help you complete this website project, you'll find a link in the description of this video where you can download the course files. Now, this course is free, and in order to allow a maximum of people to follow along, all the tools used in this course are also free. And even if you don't have a web hosting and domain, you could always create a website locally on your machine with tools like Local by Flywheel, for example. But if you want to take this to the next level, you may want to consider an even more powerful combo with the Essential or Business Toolkits from Astra, which will not only give you access to priority support, but also access to several premium plugins like Astra Pro, premium starter templates, but also access to the ultimate add-ons for Elementor plugin, a popular all-in-one add-on that enhances Elementor's capabilities, offering more than 50 cool widgets, like the Content Toggle widget, the Before and After Slider widget, or the popular Hotspots widget, just to name a few, as well as 200 plus pre-built blocks for all of your Elementor needs. Because most probably, once you're done with this course and realize that there is no limit to what you want to create, you will want to take it to the next level. Now, I will get back to this later in the course, but if you're interested, you will find a link to get ultimate add-ons for Elementor in the description below. Next, basic principles of responsive editing. So first, let's define responsive web design or responsive editing. Responsive editing means that you need to modify your website design separately for desktop, tablet, and mobile to make it look equally good on all of these screens. Now, the way you're going to implement responsive editing is going to differ based on the project, but we could say there are two main philosophies. The first one is to complete the desktop version first and then make the website responsive for tablets and mobile devices, which is what we're going to do in this video. But we're only using this route for this project because it makes it easier to teach the concepts. But in a real-life scenario, more than likely we would be using the second option or second philosophy, which is simply to make your website responsive as you go page by page. And there are many advantages. Just imagine you're working on your homepage and you got all your responsive settings dialed up. Then it's super easy to just copy and paste to the next page as you go, and this is such a time saver over the course of a project. Now, whatever route you choose, there are a few things you should always keep in mind. 1. Don't just create for the device that you prefer. Maybe you prefer viewing websites on desktop, but maybe 80% of your audience prefers viewing websites on a smartphone, or vice versa. Next, don't try to get everything looking the same on all devices. This is virtually impossible. Maybe it was possible in 1999, but today we have so many resolutions and devices, it's virtually impossible. And that brings me to the next point. Focus on the experience. So, because the experience may differ whether you're on a desktop, a tablet, or a mobile, you may have to change layouts completely just to adapt to that specific device. People don't really screen a page the same way they do on a desktop or on a mobile, for example. Next, responsive header and footer. So in WordPress, you want to go to Astra, Customize. So first of all, we want to toggle the tablet mode by clicking on the corresponding icon. Next, hover over the navigation toggle icon and click on the pencil icon. And first of all, let's change the icon. We have 3 options here. Let's pick the first one, which in my opinion looks more stylish. Now, let's go back one step, then click on Customize Transparent Header, click on the Design tab, and scroll down until you see Toggle Color. Now the icon color should already be set to white, and for the background color, we're going to pick theme color number 5. So let's close this. Great! And now let's repeat the operation for our standard header. So for that, you want to click on the toggle menu and let's go to the testimonials page. And that's simply because this page uses the standard header, so it will be easier to see what we are working on. So let's scroll back up. Let's go back one step and click on toggle button. Next, click on design, and where you see background color, we want to change it to theme color number 5. Now let's close this and let's reopen our home page. So click on the toggle menu and click on home. Next, let's go back in desktop mode, hover over the logo and click on the pencil icon. And here it says that the logo width is 160 pixels. So next, click on the responsive icon to toggle tablet mode. And let's change it from 60 to 100 pixels. Next, click on the responsive icon one more time to toggle mobile mode. And once again, let's change it from 50 to 100 pixels. Then let's click on publish to save our work. Now this was for the transparent header, but if we open a page with a standard header, as you can see, and don't mind the lower part because we'll take care of this later in this video, as you can see here on top, we also need to address the logo for the standard header. So let's go back to desktop mode and let's go back to the root of the navigation. Then click on header builder, which you already had by the way, but I just want to show you how to access it. And then click on site title and logo. Now once again, let's toggle the responsive icon to go into tablet mode and let's change the value to 100 pixels. Okay, great. Now once again, click on the responsive icon to toggle mobile mode. And once again, we want to change the value from 50 to 100 pixels. Okay, next, let's click back on the desktop icon and let's scroll down to our footer. So on the desktop, it looks fine, but now let's go into tablet mode. Let's scroll down. Still looks good, maybe a bit big. But now if we move to the mobile version, as you can see, it doesn't work. The logo is way too big and there isn't enough spaces on the edges. So let's go back into tablet mode, hover over the footer and you see the pencil icon here in the top left corner. So click on it, then go to design and where you see padding for the right, we're going to change it from 20 to 40 and the same for the left, 40 pixels. Now let's toggle the mobile mode. And let's scroll down here in our view and let's change the padding right from 0 to 20 pixels and the same for the left padding from 0 to 20 pixels. Alright, let's go back into tablet mode. Now hover over the logo, click on the pencil icon and here in the left view you can click on the logo one more time and then you're going to start dragging the handle and as you drag it you see the number is changing. What you want is aim for 160 pixels for the width, and there you go. Now on the screen capture, it may not be super visible, so just let me show you one more time from here. As you can see the numbers here. So you want the first number to say 160 pixels, more or less. And now as we move back to the mobile version and scroll down, as you can see, it's way better. Next, let's click on publish to save our work. Next, basic workflow. So earlier on in this course, we saw the responsive controls of the Elementor interface. So here on top, we can toggle to tablet and to mobile. And at any time, we can go into preview mode. So either by clicking on the little arrow here or by using a shortcut. So if I go back into tablet mode, for example, it's great, but it's not always 100% accurate. It's pretty good, but not 100% accurate. Now, one thing you can do to fix that is to open your website in the Chrome or Brave browser, then right-click anywhere on the page and click on Inspect. Next, you will see an icon here in the top that looks like a responsive icon. You see a desktop and what looks like a mobile. So just click on it and here is how it looks. Now, once again, don't pay attention to the page yet because this is what we're going to fix in this video. Now here on top you have a drop down, you can change it to other devices, for example the iPhone 14 Pro Max, or for example I could open the Samsung Galaxy A51 71, well you get the idea. Now it's not just for phones, if you look in the drop down I can select the iPad Air or iPad Mini, you name it. And you can even open the drop down and click on edit and you can add more devices. Now, I'm not ruling out the Elementor responsive preview, but the advantage of this tool in complement to Elementor's tool is that it gives you an accurate representation. Now with that in mind, let's go back to Elementor and let's take a look at the basic workflow when trying to make websites responsive. So the first principle is that elements can vary depending on which device you are. So here we are on the desktop, for example. So let me select my hero section. Then let's go into tablet mode, style. Let me click on the image and let me select a completely different image. So as you can see, we've changed the image. Now take a look at this. Let me click on the desktop and as you can see, it's a different image. Now let's go back on the tablet and this is the image we've just changed. And if I click on mobile, by default, it's going to use the settings from the device above. So in this case, the tablet. Just like the tablet, you used to take the image from the desktop, but we've changed that now. So as you can see, that's super powerful because you can have a very tailored experience depending on the device you're on. Now, let me go back into mobile mode and let me show you another feature. So still with my container selected, still in style. As you can see here, I have the image resolution. So I can decide I want to show the full resolution or I can display a medium large, for example. And in that case, it's going to serve an image that is not as large as the full resolution. So if you want to optimize for mobile, and we'll see that later in the course, this is one of the things you want to do. Next, you can also change the position. So you could say, hey, for the mobile, I want it to be center left, for example. Whereas if I go back on the tablet, it's still center by default to center. So you get the idea. You can basically tailor the experience to which device your users are going to view your website on. And of course, that's not only valid for images. For example, let me scroll and let me change the text. So here in the desktop mode, let's click on our text, style. You can see the size is 40 pixels. Now let's click on the responsive icon. Let's go into tablet mode and let's make it 20 just to make it dramatic so you see the difference. And once again, let's go into mobile mode and this time let's make it 12. So you get the point. Let me open the preview and let me cycle through desktop, tablet, and mobile. So of course here it doesn't look good. I would not advise to make it as small in a real life scenario on the smartphone, but you get the idea. Now let me close the overview. Let's go back into desktop mode. And another thing we have to talk about is the padding and margin. So let me scroll down and let me duplicate this container. Next, I'm going to go to style and just change the color so that we can differentiate. All right. Next, let me go to advanced and here you can see we have margin and padding. Now I could give you a complex definition, but let's just say that the margin in this case is going to be the space between the edge of your container and the outside world, whereas the padding is going to be the space between the edge of your container and the inside world, namely the content. So let me show you what I mean. So for example, here, I'm just going to unlink the values for the margin and I'm going to type 100 pixels for the top. So as you can see, the margin is the space between the edge of your content and the outside world. Now let's do the same thing, but for the padding. So here instead of 50, let me type 100. So now it should be easier to visualize what margins and padding do. So in our example, the top 100 pixels margin is right here, whereas the top 100 pixels padding is right here. Now the thing you have to remember is that margins and padding are not only in containers. So let me open the structure panel. So we can see here we have our testimonial container. I can open it and you see we have subcontainers. So here's one of these subcontainers. Here's the second one. Let me click on it. And once again, I can go to advanced and I can give it a margin of 40 pixels, for example. Next, I can change the padding and give it a padding of 60 pixels. You get the idea. And the reason why this is important is because all roads lead to Rome. What I mean by that is that to achieve a specific layout, you could change the margin or the padding within the main container or within the subcontainer or even within a widget. So for example, here I can click on this widget. We see it's a heading widget. I can go to advanced and once again, I can change the padding here. I can make it 30 pixels. So there are many ways to achieve a specific layout. You're just gonna have to play with it. Next, making the homepage responsive. So in WordPress, hover over the name of your website and click on Visit Site. Next, since we are already on the homepage, click on Edit with Elementor. Now let's go in tablet mode by clicking on the icon. And next, let's select our hero container. Now to make it easier, let's open the structure panel just to know where we're at and what we're doing. So with our hero container selected, go to advanced. And for the padding, you want it to be 70 pixels top, 40 on the right, 10 at the bottom, and 40 pixels on the left-hand side. Now let's go into mobile mode. And this time is going to be 64, 20, 10, and 20 pixels on the left. Now let's go back into desktop mode. And as you can see here, the button is in the middle, but it would look nicer if it was on the right hand side. So let me temporarily close the structure panel. Let's select our button. And where you see alignment, you want to change it to right. Now let's check in tablet mode and mobile mode. Now, as explained previously, by default, a device is going to take the settings from the device above it, unless you change it specifically for this device. So in this case, the button settings is taken from the tablet, which is taken from the desktop. All right, let's open a structure panel again. Let's close this and let's scroll down. Now let's go back into tablet mode. So this is looking fine. Now, as we saw earlier, the padding and margin can be set at various levels. In this case, it's set at the widget level. So if I click on it, go to advanced, you can see there is some padding here. All right, let's keep on scrolling down. And here everything looks fine. But if we go into mobile mode, you can see that the image is grayed out. And as explained earlier, we can actually have different layouts depending on which device we're viewing the website. So in this case, it's grayed out. But what if we want to enable it for the mobile view? First of all, let me go back into desktop mode. Now let me scroll down. And I'm just going to rename the container so that it's easier to work with it. So let me expand this. And I'm going to call it left and right. Very original. Now let's go back into mobile mode. And with the right container selected, I'm going to advanced, scroll down, responsive. And as you can see, it was set to hide on mobile portrait. So all I have to do is just toggle this and it's back on. And now if I open the preview, as you can see, it's now visible. So let me go back. And for this tutorial, I'm just going to leave it as it was. So I'm going to toggle it back off. And let's publish to save our work. Now let's go back into tablet mode and let's scroll down. And as you can see, the text is way too close to the edges. So let's select our container, go to advanced, and we're going to change the right padding to 40 pixels and the same for the left padding. So it's 40 pixels all around now. Now let's click on the mobile icon to toggle mobile responsive mode. Once again, let's scroll down. And this time we're going to change the right padding to 20 and the left padding to 20 pixels as well. So that looks better, but we have an issue with the image. So let me go back to the style tab. And as you can see here, this image is not the image we have for the tablet version or for the desktop version. So more than likely it was a different image. So let me go back into mobile mode and I'm just going to delete this image. And now as a default, it's going to take the setting from the device above it, the tablet. So all looking good now. So let's publish to save our work. Now let's go into tablet mode. And now let's take a look at our page in tablet mode. And as you can see, it's looking great. Good spacing, good images, good everything. Now let's check the mobile version. And just like the desktop and tablet versions, it's now looking great. Next, making the About page responsive. So once again in WordPress, click on Visit Site. Then go to the About page and click on Edit with Elementor. Next, select the page header container, toggle the tablet responsive mode, and where you see minimum height, you want to change the unit from pixels to VH, and you want to give it a value of 65 VH. Next, click on the responsive icon to toggle mobile mode, and this time you want to give it a value of 55 VH. Great. So let's click on Publish to save our work, and let's go back into tablet mode. Now let's scroll down. Everything is looking good. And as you can see, we have the same issue we had on the home page because it's the same container, the call to action banner. So let's keep this tab open and let's open a new one. So let's visit our site. And here on the home page, let's click on Edit with Elementor. I'm just going to scroll down, right click on my call to action banner and click on copy. Now let me go back to our about page and I'm going to hover over the call to action banner here, click on the plus sign, then right click and paste. And now I have my banner with the correct settings. So I'm just going to delete this one and we're set. Now let's scroll back up and let's toggle the mobile mode. Now for some reason it goes back at the bottom, so let's scroll back up one more time just to check visually that everything is looking good on the mobile, and it is. So let's click on publish to save our work, and now let's preview our work. First of all in tablet mode, and as expected our page is looking great, and the same goes for the mobile mode, looking as beautiful as the desktop and tablet versions. Now don't close the About Us page tab yet because we will need it to copy and paste between this page and the services page. Next, making the services page responsive. So open your dashboard in a new browser tab, then you know the drill now. Click on Visit Site, then open the services page and click on Edit with Elementor. Now let's go into tablet mode, and as you can see, the height of this container is not quite what we want. So let's go back to the browser tab with the About Us page. Now let's select our page container, right click, hit copy. Now let's go back to our services page, right click on the page header, and this time let's click on paste style. Now it's great for the settings, but unfortunately it also changed the image. So let's go back into desktop mode, and still with a page header selected, go to style, click on the image, and let's reselect this image here. Then click on select, and there you go. So now if you go into tablet mode and mobile mode, it's the right image. Now let's take a look at our page. It's looking good, but maybe we could change some of the spacing. So let's scroll back up and let's go into desktop mode, then go to advanced, select the web design container, and let's give it a margin of 0 all around. For the padding, unlink the values and let's give it 60, 0, 40, and 0 pixels. Now let's go into tablet mode. Once again, let's give it 0 margin all around. Then unlink the padding values and give it 40, 0, 40, 0 in pixels, of course. Then go to the mobile mode. Once again, margin of 0 all around. Unlink the padding values and let's give it 20, 0, 30, 0. Now let's go back into desktop mode, and this time let's select the graphic design container. Let's give it a margin of 0 all around. Unlink the padding values and let's give it 0, 0, 60, 0. And let me scroll down so you can actually see the padding here. Now click on the responsive icon for the tablet. Once again, 0 all around. Unlink the padding values and give it 0, 0, 40, 0. Then click on the mobile responsive icon. You know the drill now. 0 all around for the margin. Unlink the padding values and give it 0, 0, 30, 0. Now let's scroll down so we have the right view. So here is the 30 pixels bottom padding. Next, let's go back to desktop mode. Let's select our branding container. Margin should be set to 0 all around. Unlink the padding values and let's give it 0, 0, 60, 0. Then go into tablet mode, 0 margin, unlink the padding values, and this time give it 0, 0, 60, 0. Let's scroll down. Now go into mobile mode, 0 margin, unlink the padding values, and give it 0, 0, 40, 0. All right, let's click on publish to save our work. Now let's go back into tablet mode. Now let's scroll down, and as you can see, we have the Why Work with Digital Force container, which we've called the credibility container. And as you can see, this portion here is grayed out, which means it's hidden, but we're going to fix that. So let's go back in desktop mode. Now let me scroll down, and here let me expand the credibility container. So I'm just going to rename this to intro and this one to icons. So let me switch here. Now if I expand icons, we have two subcontainers. Let's call it row 1 and row 2. Now let me select the icons container, which contains all icons. Let's go into tablet mode, So let me put my structure panel back where it was. And then in the advanced tab, scroll down to responsive. And as you can see, it doesn't look like it's hidden. But if you remember, I told you all roads lead to Rome. So we need to do a little bit of digging. So let's click on row 1, advanced. Let's scroll down, responsive, and there it is. So let's click on the toggles. And now row 1 is visible both on the tablet and on the mobile. Right, let's go back into tablet mode. Let's select row 2 and let's repeat the operation, advanced, then go to responsive and let's click on the toggle. So all these toggles should be set to show. All right, let's go into mobile mode. Let's double check and yes, everything is looking good here, except the spacing, but we can fix that easily. So let's go back in tablet mode. Let's select our icons container, then go to advanced. And for the padding, you want to give it 0 all around. Then go into mobile mode and make sure it's also 0 all around. So looking great. Let's go back in tablet mode. Click on row 1, advanced. And where you see margin, you want to unlink the values and make sure it's 0 all around. Then go into mobile mode and double check it's also 0 all around. And let's repeat the operation for row 2. Let's go back into tablet mode. Unlink the value so that it's 0 all around. Now unlink the padding values and give it 20 pixels, 0, 0, 0. And just double check it's the same for the mobile. All right. Now let's click on publish to save our work. And now if we preview our page in tablet mode, it's looking great with great spacing. And the same is true for our mobile version, looking as good as the desktop and tablet versions. Next, making the testimonials page responsive. So in WordPress, you know the drill. Visit site, then go to testimonials, edit with Elementor. And here is the page we previously built from scratch. It's looking great on the desktop, but as we go into the tablet mode, still okay. But if you go into the mobile mode, it's not really okay. And as you notice, the layout is different. Now this is one of those cases where I told you, you cannot always get the exact same layout depending on which device you are. This is a thing of the past. And if you tried, this is what you would get. It would make no sense. You would have the left column, it would be unreadable, then you would have those two containers, and it's just not possible. So instead, we're going to have a different layout for the desktop version and different layouts for both the tablet and the mobile version combined. So let's go into tablet mode. Now let's open our structure panel. And with our testimonials container selected, go to advanced and give it a padding of 40 pixels all around. Now let's go into mobile mode. And this time let's unlink the padding values and let's give it 30, 10, 20, and 10 pixels. Now let's go back into tablet mode and let's select the first subcontainer. You can either click here, but as you can see, it's easier to navigate in the structure panel. So we're selecting the left subcontainer. Then go to advanced, unlink the padding values, and let's give it 80, 20, 80, and 20 pixels. Now this is valid for the tablet and for the mobile version. Now let's go back into tablet mode and we want to select this subcontainer here. And you can see it's a subcontainer to the right container. So with the right top subcontainer selected, go to advanced, unlink the padding values, and give it 40, 20, 40, and 20 pixels. Now let's repeat the operation for the right bottom, advanced, unlink the values, and 40, 20, 40, and 20 pixels. Now, and this is where the magic is going to happen, we're going to change this layout. So let's select our testimonials container, then go to layout, and where you see direction, you want to change it to column vertical. Next, you want to select the left subcontainer. Where you see width, you want to change the unit to percentage, and you want to make it 100%. Next, select the right subcontainer, then change the width unit to percentage, and once again, give it 100%. Awesome. Let's click on publish to save our work. And now if we take a look at our page, as you can see as we scroll down, we have a completely different layout than from the desktop version, but it is now really tailored for the tablet devices. And if we go into mobile mode, the same thing happens. Instead of something like this, we see something like this. Next, making our contact page responsive. So let's preview our website. Then go to the contact page. Click on Edit with Elementor. Next, let's go into tablet mode. And as we scroll, it's looking good. But I noticed a mistake, and I told you this is also the time to spot those mistakes that you overlooked. And one of the mistakes is the color of the icons. So let's fix this. So first of all, let's click on the desktop icon. Now let's scroll down. Let's hover over the icons and click on the pencil icon. Then go to Style. And we can see here that the technique used is transparency. So there's transparency over one color for the standard state. And then for the hover state, here's the full color. So let me click back on the icon subtab. Then click on primary color. And I'm going to pick theme color number 5. Then click on the color itself. And then I'm just going to drag the opacity slider in the middle. Next, let me click on the icon hover subtab. Click on global theme colors and make sure theme color number 5 is selected. And now when you hover over the icon, this is the main theme color we wanted to use. So not directly related to responsive web design, but as I mentioned, it's the perfect time now to look at all those little mistakes and make corrections. So let's click on Publish to save our work. And we didn't change much here, but the page was already looking good in tablet version. Now there is one more thing we want to change here, and is the page header. Just like before, the height is not quite what we want on the other pages of the website. So we're going to keep this tab open and just open a new tab. And one more time, let's open our websites. Let's click on Services page, Edit with Elementor. And you know the drill now, we're just going to copy the page header, click on copy. Then let's go back to our contact page, then right click on our page header and click on paste style. Next, let me go back into desktop mode, and with my page header container selected, click on style, choose image, and let's reselect the correct image. Next, click on select. And now if you go into tablet mode and mobile mode, it's looking good. Awesome. So let's click on publish to save our work. And now if we take a look at the tablet version, it's looking beautiful, just like the desktop version. And the same is true for our mobile version, looking as good as the desktop and tablet versions. Congratulations! You are now equipped with the knowledge to create a fully responsive, modern looking website.